The lost city of the Incas, also known as one of the new seven wonders of the world, also known as Machu Picchu, was originally rediscovered by Hiram Bingham on July 24th, 1911. It was considered lost because it was lost for over 400 years after its abandonment, and we will be adventuring to how to get to Machu Picchu throughout this speech. These aliases pertain to the history, mystery, and adventures that are essential elements of Machu Picchu. And today we will cover those elements and how they pertain to Machu Picchu's legacy. It's an important part of South American history and Peruvian history, as it is an untouched part of history and South American history before the Spanish Inquisition. And a quote from Virginia C. Holmgren on May and June of 1991 states that only in such a hideaway would Inca culture survive until the Spaniards were ousted, but the Spaniards were not ousted, and the last of the refugees died in the hideaway. The city and its secret were lost to history for nearly 400 years. And first I'll explain the history of Machu Picchu, and then I'll explain the mystery of Machu Picchu, and finally I'll explain the adventure of Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu is rich in history after its rediscovery, and starting in 1911, Hiram Bingham rediscovered Machu Picchu after being led by a farmer and a young boy. And in the article, Machu Picchu, 1991, in May and June, it states that, according to the article, in July 1911, following new rumors of the Inca ruins, a Machu Picchu explorer, According to the article, Machu Picchu explorer Hiram Bingham returned to Peru as the director of the Yale University Peruvian expedition. And suddenly, the city appeared before him. The beautiful stonework was visible despite being partially obscured by the weedy overgrowth of 4 centuries. The city was left untouched for over 400 years, which was a big archaeological find in the early 1900s. And it was believed to be built for the emperors of the Incas and as a sanctuary. And then also in the article by Alejandro Bulguer, Machu Picchu is also the name. In April 2008, it states that it was around 1450 during his military campaign toward the Cordillera de Vilcabamba, when overwhelmed by the scenic majesty of the Picchu Gorge, Pachute ordered the construction that's in that spot of the stone city that would please the gods. This shows the importance of the religion and sanctuary that Machu Picchu was or is believed to be, and why it was built. And interesting, right? So now that we've rediscovered or learned the history of the rediscovery of Machu Picchu, we can now move on to the mysteries of its abandonment for over 400 years. And it has been speculated upon since its rediscovery, and it has speculated from the Spanish Inquisition to disease to the fall of the Incan Empire. In the article, Peak Performance by Mark Duffy in February of 2018, it states the mystery of Machu Picchu's purpose and location high on the ridgeline in the Andes above a crook in the Urubamba River remains unsolved. The Spanish conquistadors who hastened the collapse of the Incan Empire in the 16th century were apparently unaware of it. Bingham thought it was a religious center, others believed it was a sanctuary for virgins, or a summer retreat for the Incan royalty. It may have served all these purposes or none. Another speculation was the fall of the Incan Empire and as well as the spread of disease. And Bingham was originally looking for the last stronghold of the Incan Empire, the Vilcabamba, and it fell in 1572, almost 40 years after the Incan Empire fell, but he was led to Machu Picchu instead. And after learning about the mystery behind Machu Picchu, we can now learn about the adventure that it takes to summit Machu Picchu or get to Machu Picchu. And in the article Peak Performance in February of 2018, by the busiest pedestrian route to Machu Picchu is the classic Inca Trail, a 43-kilometer, largely cobbled path used for centuries from 82 kilometer meters of the Sacred Valley Railway. This 4-day walk takes in several lesser-known Inca Valley ruins and climbs through cloud forests, mountain meadows, and windy passes. A final steep, tight flight of steps rises to the Intipuca, or the Sun Gate. And from here, the dry stone terraces of Machu Picchu move into view suddenly. And throughout this, we learned that this adventure, it is high altitude, high elevation, you're low on oxygen, and it is a breathtaking view at the end, and it's worth it. And throughout this speech, we have learned, and today we have explored the history and adventure and mystery of Machu Picchu that it takes to get there and understand the legacy of Machu Picchu. And the lasting thought that I would like to leave you with is that I hope that this was an interesting speech and that you can add this to your bucket list as a place to visit. Thank you.